Peter. You're coming back with us wherever? Yeah, there you are. Thank you, Peter. He's coming back. He really did. He understood trade. He understood it better than just about anybody. He understood how we were being ripped off for years and years and years, and nobody did anything about it. But we did. And today we're delighted to announce the launch of our new coalition, Believers for Trump. Believers, you're believers for Trump. As you know, 5 days ago, we officially defeated the worst president in the history of the United States, crooked Joe Biden. You know, I thought a lot about it. We defeated him. He was badly beaten, and you know, everybody was going to him, said, you can't beat him. You're not going to beat this guy. You can't beat him. Get out. Get out. We want you out. There was nothing nice about what they were doing. And they were saying, we want you out of the race. You're going to lose. We want to put somebody else in. How about that? It's like a prize fighter. He's losing badly, ready to be knocked out. And they say, well, wait, let's stop the fight. Let's put somebody else in. It doesn't work that way, and it's not supposed to work that way. And this really was a coup by the Democrats. This was a coup, nothing else. He got 14 million votes. I hate to stick up for Biden, but, you know, he didn't want to do what he did. He said, I'll never go out. I'll never, ever go out. 2 days later, I'm proud to go out. Because the fascists went after him. They threatened him with the 25th Amendment. They said, we can do it the nice way or we can do it the hard way, Joe. That's what happened. I know as many people on that side as I know on our side, so to speak. But that's what happened. They said, we can do it the hard way. We can do it the easy way. 25th Amendment if you don't go. And he said, oh, I'll go. And now they're trying to make him into a brave hero. He's so brave. Last night or the other night, he made a speech behind the beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office. And look, I'm not looking to knock. I want to give people credit or not credit. It was horrible. And then you turn on to like CNN and MSDNC, the worst. They're just horrible. And they're saying one of the finest speeches we've ever seen. I mean, Churchillian, somebody said. Churchill, Winston Churchill. No, Winston had it on him a little bit. It was so bad, and they pretended it was good. And they're doing the same thing with her. She was a bum 3 weeks ago. She was a bum. A failed vice president in a failed administration with millions of people crossing, and she was the border czar. Now they're trying to say she never was the border czar. She had nothing to do with the border. She was the border czar. They're trying to take it. They're deleting it all over the place. They want to take it because we have the worst border in history. And 3.5 years ago, we had the best border that we've ever had. In fact, my chart that I looked over to the right, that chart, you know, the famous chart that showed we had the best numbers in history, at least recorded history on the border, that chart probably saved my life. Can you believe it? Because I looked over. If I didn't look over, I got a problem. Wasn't too good anyway. Did you see the FBI today apologize? They said, well, it might have been a bullet, but it might have been glass. Oh, really? Where did the glass come from? Or it might have been shrapnel. Where did the shrapnel come from? No, they then said it was a bullet. They just try and do it. It just never ends with these people. They raid Mar-a-Lago. They do things so bad, so bad. Our country is so sick. But they apologize. We accept their apology. So now we have a new candidate to defeat the most incompetent, unpopular, and far-left vice president in American history. That's what she is, the most incompetent, but certainly the most far-left. Together, 4 months from now, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, who a short time ago strongly fought to defund the police and the radical left Democrat Party. We're going to take back that very beautiful White House, and we're going to make America great again, guaranteed, and it's going to go fast. With your vote, I will defend religious liberty in all of its forms. I will protect Christians in our schools, in our military, in our government, in our workplaces, in our hospitals, and in our public square. And I will also protect other religions. We want that, right? Other religions. And we will bring our country back together one nation under God. But if radical, liberal Kamala Harris gets in, and by the way, there are numerous ways of saying her name. They were explaining to me, you can say Kamala, you can say Kamala. I said, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what I say. I couldn't care less if I mispronounce it or not. I couldn't care less. Some people think I mispronounce it on purpose, but actually I've heard it said about 7 different ways. There are a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways. But if radical liberal Kamala Harris gets in, you will have the exact opposite effect. Harris will appoint hundreds of extreme far-left judges to forcibly impose crazy San Francisco liberal values on Americans nationwide. Now, you've seen what's happened to San Francisco. It was the best city maybe in our entire country 15 years ago, and now it's barely livable. That's what she's the one that started. She was an original defunder. She was a defunder of the police. She said, let's defund the police. She was the first one to start it. But now, of course, she's tough. She did not. They always, one thing about a politician, I guess including me, you always go back to your original thought. Now, my original thoughts were very good. You'll like my original thought. I'm the only one out there that probably got worse. It's true. My original thoughts, you always go back to them. And she went back to them, and she will go back. If she ever got in, she will go back to all of those horrible original thoughts that she had. She'll appoint hardcore Marxists to the Supreme Court to shred our Constitution and all of our religious liberty. She will do that absolutely. She will try as hard as she can to add as many justices as possible to the U.S. Supreme Court. We don't want that to happen, do we? We like our 9 justices the way they are. We don't want to have 17. I've heard numbers 21. 21 sounds like a great number. What about 23? They want to have an odd number. That's the only thing we agree on. In other words, she wants to pack the court, which is their #1 agenda. And we can't let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. We're not going to have anybody added. We're going to do it the way we've done it for many, many years. That's really a stopper. It's a stopper. The Supreme Court. And by the way, you can take a look. There have been many things that have happened over the last few years where there's been great uniformity on things that aren't necessarily conservative, but they did the right thing. That's what's supposed to be happening, and that's what's happened. They've done the right thing, but they can't pack the court. The hordes of illegal aliens storming across our borders will exceed 40 or 50 million by the time they're finished. That's what they want. They want millions. You know, the number, I believe the real number already, or very close, is 20 million people have come across our border. Think of it. Over a very short period of time, with 4 more years of Harris, who was worse than Joe Biden in a true sense and far more liberal, America will be decimated by migrant crime, demolished by fascism, ravaged by rampant inflation, and impoverished by the complete obliteration of American energy. They don't want any fossil fuel no matter what. In other words, good luck. I hope you enjoy walking to work. You know what makes electricity, right? Fossil fuel. They don't understand that. You know, it comes from someplace, right? It comes from fossil fuel. I'm here tonight because we must never let that happen. Our task is to defeat socialism, to defeat Marxism, communism, to defeat the cartels and the criminals and the human traffickers trafficking women. And that means defeating Kamala Harris in a landslide. We want a landslide this November. We want something too big to rig, too big to rig. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. We cannot let this, I have to say, once great country, but will soon be a great country again. But right now, we don't feel like this is a great country. We're a laughingstock all over the world, but we can't let our country fail. As everyone here understands, the radical left ideology Kamala supports is really militantly hostile toward Americans of faith. And you saw that during the pandemic where people couldn't get together. Even when they wanted to get together with big spaces outside, they were ravaged. As a senator, she viciously attacked highly qualified judicial nominees simply because they were members of the Knights of Columbus, suggesting that their Catholic faith disqualified them from serving on the federal bench. And I'll tell you something, I don't know, we have a lot of Catholics in here, probably not too many. How many Catholics do we have? Whoa, it's a lot. I don't know how a Catholic can vote for the Democrats because they're after the Catholics almost as much as they're after me. I would say I top you, I'm proud to admit. But they're really after the Catholics. And, you know, I met today with Bibi Netanyahu, and I will tell you, I asked him a question, and he said he's getting asked that question a lot. I said, how can a Jewish person or a person that loves Israel vote, think of this, vote for these parties? I mean, how can they vote Democrat? How can they vote for these horrible people that want to destroy? But I asked him, how did they vote for Democrats? Everything is negative. Everything, they want to stay in the way. They don't want to have victory. They want to stop you from having victory. They want to put you in jail. They want to persecute you. How does a Jewish person vote for a Democrat? And traditionally, they have. No, traditionally, they have. And we came to the conclusion it's mostly habit. Because they have for 50 years. I mean, they have. That's what they've done. But how does a Jewish person vote for a Democrat? How does a Catholic person vote for a Democrat? With what they're doing to Catholics, I just don't get it. Somebody doesn't like Catholics in that administration, and I don't even know who it is. I don't think it's Biden because I don't think he has any idea what the hell he's doing. I don't think he has any ideas on any subject. Kamala Harris supports California's outrageous new law trampling on parental rights and allowing minors to change their gender without parental notification or consent. Can you imagine? She's in favor of that, by the way. Or she was. She's probably losing. You know, they're losing as much as they can. But remember, a politician always goes back to where they started. Harris wants to forcibly compel doctors and nurses against their will to give chemical castration drugs to young children. You know that, right? She totally supports that. And she supports the Biden-Harris Title IX policy of forcing every public school in America to let men into women's and girls' locker rooms. Can you imagine? It's like, what are we doing? What? You know, the whole world is laughing at us. You do know that, right? We've gone wacko. As president, I will protect the safety and well-being of America's children. I will defend the values of the American family. And above all, I will restore common sense to Washington, D.C., because Republicans, and I said this for the last year, and I think it's so true, we're conservative and all of that stuff. But you know what? We're the party of common sense. Common sense. We want borders. We want security. We want safety. We want good education. We'd like low interest rates. We'd like to be able to buy a house. We want safety, though. We want safety. We want strength. We want wisdom. We don't want to have an electric car where everybody has an electric car that doesn't go far, is made in China, costs too much. And by the way, and I want to thank Elon Musk for endorsing me, by the way, I have to tell you. And I said, you know, Elon, remember, I love electric cars. I think your car is great. I love it. But it's not for everybody. And, you know, he never said to me, look, I'm going to endorse you, but, you know, you have to show. Because I think the electric car and I think the Tesla, I think it's incredible what they've done. But there are other reasons, like sometimes you want to drive long distances. You don't want to stop. You know, in the Midwest, someplace in the Midwest, they put up 8 charging stations. You know that, right? They spent $9 billion. Now, you know what a charging station is? It's like a gas pump. It's the equivalent of a gas pump for electricity, right? It's a little thing. They spend $9 billion. That That would mean that